Tap that subscribe button and keep it locked here to Secrets to a Free Mind show with your host, Melanie Parker, powered by Quality Girl. In this episode, we'll hear from a healthcare professional on stay healthy at home during the coronavirus lockdown. Keep it locked. Welcome back. I'm Melanie Parker, founder of Quality Girl and your host of Secrets to a Free Mind show, where we help you free your mind, move forward in life. Shout out to Mike Horn at Mike Like Poetry on Twitter for co-designing the cover art and composing the beats. In addition to listening to this podcast, be sure to tap the thumbs up icon, subscribe button, and bell icon to love us, follow us, and receive clips via Twitter on episodes. Let's welcome Keri Hall-McGovern. Hi, Keri.
Hi. Thank you.
You're welcome. So happy to have you on the podcast today.
My pleasure.
So tell us, who is Keri Hall-McGovern? Now, you know, you're my girl, and I always called you Keri Hall-McGovern. So please share that and tell why.
So when I met you, I was Keri Hall. And then I've known you so long that I got married almost 15 years ago, as you were a part of it. And then I had 2 babies. And my last name is McGovern. And you just thought you would give me my middle name as my last name because that is who I am to you. Which is important to me. I am a mother of 2. I am an ICU nurse originally for 10 years, and now I am a cardiac cath lab nurse, working in the cath lab, taking elective procedures and also emergencies, mostly heart attacks and other emergencies. So we are getting some COVID-19 patients into our procedure area, rule out COVID-19 patients as well. So people that we don't know are negative yet, but have symptoms and have not been ruled out yet.
Oh, I'm glad you guys are on the case. And I'm so happy to be able to talk with a healthcare professional today to give us some great feedback, some great tips, and to inform us of what's going on.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's overwhelming. We're trying to still figure everything out, and protocols and policies are continuously changing. We're constantly getting emails of updates on PPE, which is personal protective equipment, and how we are supposed to go about caring for these patients, protecting ourselves. There's an enormous amount of changing happening in the hospitals right now that's hard to keep up with, but we're trying our best. And then we also have to deal with our home situation. So it's stressful, but we are trying to be as ready as we can.
Yeah, and we appreciate you being on the front line for us.
It's stressful, but you have to love it to do it, otherwise you'll lose your mind.
That's right. It's definitely your calling. Definitely, Keri. Tell us, Keri, about your profession.
You mean specific to the department I'm in now?
Yes.
So we are the emergency team that when somebody comes into the emergency room having a heart attack, we scoop them up from the emergency room, take them to the cath lab, which we then perform a procedure to get into the heart with catheters and wires to open up the coronary artery of the heart that is causing the heart attack to keep them alive. And so they don't, so their heart tissue does not die. We also do elective procedures on people who have been having, chest pain that is stable, chest pain on chronic blockages that can be fixed, not as an emergency. We also deal with ICU patients and put devices in hearts that help the heart pump. We do biopsies. There's several procedures we do, but I think the biggest responsibility we have is to deal with the heart attacks. And that's where most people know it as stenting. So we put stents in these coronary arteries and open up the blockage.
Mm-hmm. And now all hands on deck for the coronavirus to help fight this pandemic.
Yeah, so we of course will still have the emergencies coming in. We have stopped almost all elective procedures that can afford to wait, but we still have to deal with the heart attacks and other emergency procedures. So that continues, and then we may be deployed to other parts of the hospital to try to help. We just tested 99 patients for coronavirus, and only 6 came back positive so far. Okay. So it feels like the calm before the storm, as we watch Italy and Korea.
Yes.
But so we're trying to, as they say, lessen the curve with other measures as we watch these other countries. But it's just, I don't know, we're just kind of day by day, hour by hour sometimes with these decisions that are being made. One of the biggest problems right now is that we're running out of the personal protective equipment, hats, masks, goggles, and gowns. The biggest thing missing are the masks. So that's becoming a problem. We have to learn how to deal with that by recycling them, somehow sterilizing them and reusing them. And there are communities and other organizations that are trying to actually construct masks for us.
Oh, wonderful.
So it's just concerning because we're like in the early stages.
Right. That's a good point you made.
We're already running out, so that's the biggest problem we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, but I love the fact how communities and countries, people are coming together in this moment.
Yeah.
To push and to go above and beyond to help fight this pandemic. And we're going to do so. We're going to fight and we're going to win. Keri, share one of your most fulfilling experiences in seeing someone become whole in her body.
Well, wow, it's hard to find just one, but I'm going to actually tell you a personal story. When I was on the other side of the fence as a mom in an intensive care unit with my first newborn, who was born with a birth defect and was fixed the day after she was born, I saw her become whole, and one of the best moments ever that really made her whole, I actually missed because the only time I had to leave her side was to pump breast milk, and my sister was there with me. And she would, either my sister or my husband would be there at the bedside when I would leave. But I left to go pump, and the first time they were able to give her my breast milk down her feeding tube, my sister was able to witness it. And she said, I've never seen any magical moment like this with the human body, but they gave her this breast milk and her color changed immediately. Wow. It was like this aura around her. I came back from pumping and my sister was almost like almost all her color was almost gone, I think, because she was so taken back by this moment. It was amazing, she said, and I wish that I could have seen it. I'm happy to know that I was providing for it, but it made her whole. It's like she was waiting for the piece of me that she needed to help her heal.
Wow.
So I don't know, that's one story that's personal, but as a nurse and being an ICU nurse, there are many moments such as, when we have young people with traumatic brain injuries who finally wake up and actually open their eyes and follow commands and talk to you. Or even someone who has been chronically ill and in the intensive care unit and has been there awake, but then all of a sudden cries and lets all their frustration out, and then becomes more in tune with their body as they like release stress. So there's so many ways I feel like in the healthcare where you see that. And then now in my profession, when I have a patient on the table and I am the nurse in the procedure, and we all of a sudden open that coronary artery, immediately you will see their heart rhythm change on the monitor, and their chest pain will go away when they were so close to possible death from having a massive heart attack. And that is one amazing example to me, because it's such a quick and fast intervention that can save somebody and change the situation immediately, as opposed to in the ICU where it's a chronic situation often, and you can't, it's over time and it's frustrating, and it's, you just want to see someone become one with their body and whole, and it eventually can happen. It's just a long time. But now I'm seeing different things. It's amazing. It's amazing to see like people help people, and the things that work to make somebody one with their body and whole.
And that is powerful, powerful, Keri. And I know you are truly called to this, and you have the compassion and the heart and the love to want to see people whole. I remember experiences you had with a couple of young boys who one had passed away in your arms, and definitely and seeing one get better, and the compassion that you have and the work ethic that you have to, you have a family, you have a husband, 2 children, you had 2 dogs, and you still push to do what you are called to do. And it's truly the love of God that's in your heart. And we thank you for being on the front line. We thank you for that.
It is my pleasure, and I feel lucky to have the desire and the love to do it.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
It's so meaningful to me that you remember De'Aaron.
Yes.
And me holding him when he died. And that is an example, actually, of one becoming whole with their body as they lose their body and their soul goes where it should go. That situation changed me forever. And to let the audience know, Aaron was a young boy who had AIDS, and his mother was not alive, and his father was doing his best to take care of him. And I was called to be with him on the night they were going to withdraw support, and his dad could not be in the room for it, so he asked me to, and I held him when they took him off the ventilator. And he died within a couple minutes. And it just was a moment of no more suffering, which is sometimes the only way that someone can become whole with their body, so their soul is at peace Lord. And is resting. So it's like there's so many ways that you see that, and I feel so thankful to be a part of it. It's hard. It's emotionally and mentally hard. In fact, like right now, our staff, as we take care of these patients, and we have to do all of these new things to take care of these patients that could possibly have coronavirus. We love each other so much. Yes. Our colleagues, we love each other, but it becomes stressful, and communication can become stressful. Yeah. And you have to realize how to get through it, and get through it being frustrated with each other to do this stuff. And that's one of the hardest parts, because even at home, people, I'm sure everybody at home right now is getting stressed out because they are so limited and confined and stressed out about contracting this, that people don't even realize how stressed out they are. They're just trying to get through, and the tension is so high. And it's like that at work. It's really high right now, but then we reel it in and we realize what we have to do, and we just do it.
Exactly. So, Keri, let's talk to the people tonight and help them with tips on how to reduce their chances of contracting the coronavirus. So what must we do?
So, one of the biggest problems with it at first is they were not sure how is it contracted? Like how does someone catch this? Is it airborne? Is it droplet? Right now they are considering it as droplet, which means basically a droplet of fluid from someone has to come from one person and enter another person's body, either on the surface and they end up touching their mouth, or they inhale it and it somehow enters into their nose. So aerosol would have been a huge problem, which means it can travel through the air and anybody can just inhale it. But it was a relief to find out that it was droplet. So the biggest thing that you can do still, because if someone sneezes, it's simple as that, like catching a common cold, right? Someone sneezes and they're near you, within 6 feet, the safety zone is 6 feet. So if you can follow the rule of staying 6 feet away from anybody, I mean, when you're, the people that you're living in your house with is a little difficult, obviously, but outside your house, if you have to be in the community for some reason, you should not be if you don't have to be. But if you have to be, or you're outside walking and you just need to go for a walk and there are neighbors out, just at least stay 6 feet away. And the other big, simple thing is hand washing. Mm-hmm. I mean, you cannot wash your hands enough. It's better to wash your hands with soap than it is to Purell. Purell does not cover everything. Mm-hmm. And Purell actually takes a few minutes to work. So, as soon as people put it on, they think that it's effective right away, and it's not. Washing your hands is more effective because you're actually flushing germs and bacteria off your hands.
Good tip.
So that is huge. And just do not touch your face without washing your hands first. Do not put anything in your mouth without washing your hands first. And when you're eating dinner, don't touch anything else besides your utensils, your glass, and your food. And if you do, wash your hands again, mm-hmm. and then start eating again. It's just anything can enter your body by way of mouth or nose, and that's one of the hardest parts. But simply just washing your hands is huge.
Good tips. Good tips. Which type of physical activities do you suggest?
I mean, I think that people right now, especially for their mind, need to get up and get out of their house. It's a good excuse to get up and walk on the streets and get fresh air, because it's kind of a good excuse to chill in your house and relax, but at the same time you don't realize you're really starting to develop cabin fever. So walking, getting enough sleep, eating the right stuff, eating healthy food. Vitamin C is a big deal right now, and it is something that is good to take, and you cannot overdose on it. So that is something that people can do. But I think really just continue to exercise, not at gyms. Most of the gyms are closed now, not at healthcare facilities. But if you get out and just run, if you're a runner, or walk, if you don't exercise, just get out and walk. Like, keep your circulation going. Mm-hmm. The more your circulation is circulating, the better your immunity is. So drinking water is also important.
Very good. To reduce synthetic medicine intake, which additional supplements should one take to remain whole?
So the vitamin C, like I mentioned, is great. Apple cider vinegar is something that I am a big believer in. Mm-hmm. It helps with immunity and inflammation. Mm-hmm. I drink it often, and I will actually just heat up a cup of water and put a tablespoon or two of apple cider vinegar in and mix it with honey, so it's ingestible, because it doesn't taste good at all, but it is something very good to take right now. The vitamin C, I think, is probably the biggest. Okay. And just stay nourished. I mean, I can't believe I'm going to say this because I hate processed food. But the processed food is the food that probably was, touched and prepared longer ago than the fresh food. Right. So I think that just clean your food before you're eating it, and, stay conscious of now we should not be doing takeout. I know that the restaurants are still open for takeout, but we should not be doing takeout.
Good point.
You just don't know what it's been touched by, what it's been coughed on by as it's prepared. Mm-hmm. These people, and I feel bad for these poor people, like so many people who need to work. Right. They may be going to work sick because they need to make money. It's so hard. It's so challenging right now. So prepared food at home is the best way to go. Mm-hmm.
Good tip. Good tip. Now, it's fascinating how certain vegetables and fruit match the shape of our organs in our bodies. So let's talk about food for body. Like, for example, tomatoes and greens resemble the heart. In the greens, where like your mustard greens, collards, kale, you have the vein within the middle of the green that resembles the heart and the artery, the veins. And tomatoes, of course, resemble the heart. Then you have the carrots, which are good for your eyes and they resemble the pupil of the eyes. Walnuts resemble the brain, and it is good for the brain. You have celery, which resembles the bone structure, and celery is good for the bones. Grapefruit resemble breasts, and they are excellent for the breast. Avocados, sweet potatoes are good for the uterus. These colorful vegetables and fruit resemble certain body parts, organs, and they are good for those organs. And it's amazing how we're built that way. And red wine is good for the blood.
So the vegetables and the association with the organs is pretty cool. I've not heard that, but it makes sense, and I'm going to read up on it myself. One of the biggest advantages of vegetables is the roughage aspect, because your digestive system or your gut is connected to everything in your body. It's how everything is nourished. So everything that goes in, what you don't need, should go out, and the quicker it goes out, the better. So roughage helps promote that. It helps avoid constipation. You know, when you are constipated and these substances that your body doesn't need sit in your body does not react well to it. The sooner that is filtered out through your body, the better. And vegetables and grains help with that. They keep that cycle going and they keep it faster, and it is just so important.
As one who is separated from family because you are a cardiac arrest RN nurse at the hospital in the Greater Boston Metropolitan area, share how should one take self and family emotional care?
Well, I have two children that are 9 and 11, and I think that's one of the hardest parts right now for everybody is children, because they're not necessarily understanding really what's going on, but they're feeling the stress. They're knowing they're out of school. I went into work this past Monday and found out before we were putting all the protocols in place, with the personal protective equipment that we were supposed to be using, I was exposed to a patient who was symptomatic of possible coronavirus, and I found out about my exposure on Monday. So I actually had to stay at the hospital until we got the coronavirus test results back from the lab until Wednesday. So my kids were crying every night. I had to tell them I had to stay at the hospital. And that was one of the hardest parts for me is, the kids not understanding what mommy is doing, what is happening around the world, how bad it is. You know, you don't want them to know how bad it is because you don't want them to be scared, but at the same time, you want them to understand why everybody is acting differently, why everything around us is changing so much, why they are not in school, why they can't have play dates, why they can't be around mommy. So I think that's one of the hardest parts for family is the kids right now, because there are certain ages who understand it enough that they are scared, and then there are some that don't understand it enough and are confused. I think families, you choose who you choose who you love, or you don't choose who you love, but you choose who to spend the rest of your life with. But no matter how well you choose, spending 24/7 with someone is stressful. And right now that's happening a lot. And I think that people need to take a break from each other and go have some alone time in a room with a book or outside on a walk.
Good point.
To reduce the stress. You just don't realize how stressed out you are with everything changing because you're just trying so hard to adjust. But just don't be hard on each other and don't be hard on yourself, and just think about what is really necessary to make people happier around you and yourself.
Very good. Keri, any ideas on helping people to rest better?
You know what? I'm a big believer in meditation. As simple as closing your eyes for 1 minute and telling yourself 3 positive things about your life, and then also going over in your head what is happening, what you can do about it, and how you can stay calm about it. I think the better that you eat, the better that you sleep. Any stress relievers that help you during the day will help you sleep better at night. So whatever you do for yourself during the day to release stress will help you sleep better at night.
Good stuff.
I think that people need to really embrace the fact that they cannot do everything that it is they usually do, and try to get in a different state of mind of simply chilling.
That's right. Right.
Things that are fun.
That's right.
Find things that are fun and find things that make you happy, and just do the stuff that you don't have time to do, and do them and be happy about it.
And be thankful and grateful.
Yeah.
That is so true. Any resources you'd like to share with us?
I think one big thing is one resource to actually avoid. Don't stay on the news all day. I mean, it seems so factual, and it is. And the sort, I feel they do their best to give us the numbers and the facts and whatnot, but I also think that it's dramatized, and I think that is hard, and you don't realize it when you're watching it. But I would say, I have a husband that is watching the news nonstop, and I think that it's hard to do that and stay positive. I think the CDC is has their website that is helpful and legit and accurate. So I think that is one to check in on. That is worth staying in touch with and in tune to. But I think as long as you are knowing the rules and what we should be doing right now, that's the biggest factor. The statistics of the number that are infected and the number that are dying. I mean, it's good to know, I guess, for curiosity, but it's not going to help. It's stressful to hear it, and it's not going to necessarily help you do the right thing. It might put a little bit of fear in you that makes you do the right thing, but just know what to do.
Right. Thank you, Keri, and thank you so much for your time and sharing with us and helping us today. We appreciate you being on the front line at the hospital.
It's my pleasure, and stay safe.
You too. Remember, as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Peace.